AI has become one of the most powerful and polarizing forces shaping the world and capital markets today. But who is truly benefiting? Who is being disrupted? And what is already priced in the market? Today's conversation is about moving past the headlines to better understand the dynamics that are at play and that really matter for investors. So I'm thrilled to be joined today by three of our most senior hedge fund portfolio managers: Mike Thoman, portfolio manager of a diversified equity long-short strategy; Josh Lewis, portfolio manager of a tech and consumer-focused market-neutral strategy; and then Ben Krauser, global industry analyst and portfolio manager of a finance-focused market-neutral strategy. My name is Boris Kergal. I'm a managing director within our hedge fund investor relation group, and I'm going to be the moderator for the session today. So let's dive right into it. I want to start with you, Mike. Given you are the most diversified portfolio manager on our panel, I wanted to talk a little bit about the evolution of the AI trade. What has happened the last few years and what can we expect for 26?
I think you can best describe it as what was a very slow burn into kind of a dramatic moment. If you think through the evolution of the industry, machine learning and neural networks have been around for decades. Even NVIDIA moved out of gaming GPUs into broader supercomputer GPUs a decade ago. It wasn't until the end of 2022 when ChatGPT 3.5 was released that a product was in the hands of consumers and investors that we could really appreciate the magnitude of productivity gains that we could find. So if you look at the cadence of the evolution of this trade, 2023, the world was trying to figure out what can happen. How big could this effective TAM be? What kind of productivity gains could we have? What kind of growth could we have from it? And even then, I think the market was timid in underlying assumptions. You saw a trade that was really focused around the GPUs themselves, compute. And we moved at the very beginning of what ended up being a multi-year CapEx cycle for hyperscalers. Over the course of 24 and 25, the debate was no longer around demand. We knew that demand was going to massively outstrip the underlying capacity that would go into this market. And so the trade really broadened out. And it broadened out not only within semiconductors, so it wasn't just kind of moving down the supply chain into components, into memory, into the capital equipment that goes into making the chips themselves. It was much broader than that. We started talking about data center capacity in terms of gigawatts, right, to kind of frame it. And so it was everything from the amount of concrete needed to build out these data centers, cooling equipment that was needed to kind of, keep the heat at bay, rack architecture and rack assembly that went into this. And I think one of the benefits of a place like Wellington is that you can reach out to and speak with and collaborate with subject matter experts on every one of these points, right? And so it was really important to have the view from energy specialists when, the fear was energy as a bottleneck. If I look forward into how this is going to continue to evolve, 26 and 27, we're going to move into an increasingly agentic world. And that's going to even further broaden out the trade. You're going to see much more debate around kind of AI haves and AI have-nots, AI winners and AI losers. And it's going to create much more disparity in the markets. It's not going to be a trade that's consolidated around a few very clear winners. There's going to be companies that are opportunistically able to lean in and take advantage of this. They're going to drive incremental top-line efficiencies. They're going to drive incremental operating margin efficiencies. They're going to drive incremental free cash flow. And it's going to be in excess of what I think a lot of people truly appreciate. Our focus area is really understanding where the demand can take us. I think there are use cases that pop up every day. There are evolutions in the trade that pop up every day. There's incremental learnings that pop up every day, which makes it incredibly exciting.